Hey everyone, this is Mr. Everything, and I'm at a very unpleasant angle here trying to record my two iPhones with the iPad, and I don't have an iPad tripod. It's trying to prop it's kind of crazy, but the only way I can film because I normally film with my iPhones. I think you can tell which one is which. This is obviously the newer one, which is the 15 Pro Max, and I'm upgrading from the 13 Pro Max. Uh, I'm not going to go too in depth with it, so I'm trying to do the same thing basically. I mean, they're very similar aside from the dynamic island. I got the same case, ESR, kickstand of MagSafe. I like the 13's better because it's like this clear, but it's smoked. I have the straight clear, and it yellows, and it looks pretty bad. To where this is the black MagSafe, and it's just smoky, so it's really not. It'll probably get a little darker, but it's not going to get yellow because it's already dark. So the new one, whether they did that so that it wouldn't get dark or yellow at all, they made it out of this rubber, and I find it to be just way more slippery. This is more of a tacky. It's got a little bit of grip to it. Now with this one, they do cover the action button. Some cases kind of just carried over the hole, so I like that at least the newer model has that. And the camera guard, which this one, it has these little protrusions, and it kind of locks it into place, to where this has it as well, but they hardly work, and it's way easier. You can see it has a little bit of wear on it, but this one's so much easier to open. But that's for my specific application. Although I do think if they're like what, $25, they're pretty cheap. I would definitely give these ESR cases a look through, because I always run my phone with the case on it. I use ESR and UAG, and that's why you can tell that the 13 is still, pristine condition, even though I have dropped it a few times. So the backs are similar. I think the 15 is just a little bit, just slightly darker, and then the cameras are a little bit different in terms of color. Again, darker, and the looks like the lens is more flush with that outer ring. And then the main difference is this one is titanium, or titanium as Cleveland Brown would say, and this is a polished. I do like that they kept polished stainless steel, but I like that they kept them flat. I did not like the rounded, like from the iPhone 6 era. So I'm glad they have gone back to this, but then, in a few years they'll go back to round and everyone will eat it up. I'll get it on the same side so you can see the action button, which supposedly is going to be a little bit larger for the 16. The SIM tray, which again this one uses eSIM, so no removable SIM. Looks like the 5G or that whatever that antenna is for is a little bit bigger, and it has the regular like smaller provisions or little lines there. And then you can see the notch versus the dynamic island. Now I will say that I find that the dynamic island is actually much more distracting than the notch. With the notch, you kind of just get used to it, and you ignore it. For the dynamic island, to me, I think you kind of always see it. It just kind of emphasizes that it's there. But the dynamic island is much more convenient. When you're playing music, you can kind of see the thing. You can get some notifications in there. Hopefully, in iOS 18, they'll add more things. I think you could put a few other things in there, have customization for it. I'd rather there be no notch or cutout or anything at all, but I kind of do prefer that. But that's just me. And you have that always on display. I will say I think the battery life is significantly worse on the see on the new 15 Pro Max. The 13 here, you can see I'm down to 85%, and this is almost 2 full years. I think I bought it in May of 2022, so we're about what, 23 months or so, 22, 23, and I charge it every night. I charge it on a wireless charger. I think it's a 7.5 watt charger. So I think just that slow charge overnight probably helps the battery. Because I mean, I do have optimized battery charging on, but that just came in recent years. In prior years, when I had the 8 Plus and then the 11 Pro Max or whatever the 11 series was called, it was same thing, but I don't think it had that those options, and I still always had battery life, battery health in the 80% by the time I sold the phone. So obviously this one's new, and the 15 series, you can get your cycle count. I guess it tells you the manufacture date and when you first used it. So that's all kind of neat info to have. And this will be inaccurate because I mostly have this phone shut off now. But I don't find that my battery life's any better than my diminished 85% health phone. I think it's because of the always on screen. I would like it because a lot of times it's in my pocket or face down. I'd like it if it doesn't detect anything, like if it's covered, that it would just not use the always on display and it would only come on when you have it face up like this. It does say it auto shuts off, but it doesn't seem to do it quick enough to where it's probably, maybe it's not as efficient as it could be. So after I use it for a while, and when it's new, you use it a little more. I might just disable that and see if my battery life's any better. I'm still easily getting through a day, but I'm finding myself at 30% battery life, and a lot of times with this phone, I would be 40 or 50. I also did have OTA updates blocked, and I was on iOS 16 up until I bought this new phone. Then I had to update it to have them to where I can mirror the content over. I probably won't do too much here in terms of opening things. Because, I mean, these are tests that everyone has done. I don't even think I'm going to bother with this because, I mean, it is a little faster, especially on those third-party apps. But, I mean, those tests have already been done a long time ago, and they're kind of old. I mean, the 13 really wasn't even outdated. It still did just fine in comparison to the 15. I mostly just got it for the new battery life and the trade-in, $500 trade-in for the 13 at this moment. If I wait until the 16 to come out, then it'll probably be worth like $350 or something. So just to kind of keep the Apple cycle going, I did go ahead and get a new one. But I think I'll leave it there. Just a little update if that's helpful to anyone. So thanks for watching, and you'll see me in the next one. Have a good one.